Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Let's Play DGS. We are about to hear the Jurors Assertions once more, after they voted guilty once again, and we're going to see if we can prove them wrong. Okay, excuse me. The Jurors Assertions.
Well, a pickpocket is a pickpocket, eh? She's not like us upstanding citizens.
There were only 2 bullets found in that room, in which case it's obvious.
There's no need to even look at it stereoscopically anymore. No matter how you look at it, it could only have been that girl.
I never imagined that surgery would end up causing so much trouble.
And once again, the doctor is talking about something else not related to this.
That pickpocket girl made an attempted burglary on the day of the murder, too. It sounds like today will be quite a busy day.
I am expert on pistols. Have seen many cases up to now. I know everything.
Thank you for telling us you know about many pistols.
It would seem that we have at last arrived at a verdict with no room for doubt.
The alternate explanation offered by that dark defense attorney was oddly persuasive, but as soon as that was blasted to Kingdom Come, I thought, well, this settles it then. Those are my feelings on the matter.
Damn it. Suddenly I feel like everything's been turned around on me again.
I won't let him get away with this.
Iris-chan?
The way that prosecutor talked about Jeannie. She's a criminal, so it's not unreasonable to assume that she shot old Mr. Hatch. The way he said it was so mean.
Savagery. Well then, I suppose I shall withdraw from the stage for the time being. And enjoy the contents of this Lord's chalice. Of course you will.
Now then, defense, you may begin your final appeal.
Yes, Your Honor. Jury examination. The defense's rebuttal. You mean to say that, because she's a pickpocket, it's not difficult to imagine her shooting someone?
Eh?
Do all retired British soldiers make such assumptions about people?
What? You lout! You would dare mock the proud British Army?
I think my statement and yours are about the same. Making assumptions about someone because they're pickpockets or soldiers is incredibly dangerous.
Well, that may indeed be the case, but how shall I say this? When I'm shown evidence of such a crime, I'm made hardly aware of the fact that this person is the sort who commits crimes, you see.
By evidence of crime, do you mean this?
The defendant attempted to steal that. Isn't that true?
Well, even as someone who was at the scene of the crime, I find that difficult to deny.
Now that I think about it, this is my first time seeing the real thing.
Now that you mention it. Homeson used some caramel to make his own duplicate, didn't he? He said something about gathering every model of music box made in Europe.
We never did find out what sort of music it plays, but since I've got the chance, I'd like to have a look at the real thing.
This disc left behind by Mangodal. Maybe we should check it out, check it over carefully. We already did that, we're good. The number of bullets.
There were 2 of them, and we know exactly which guns fired them. How many guests came to visit? You can find the answer by counting the number of plates.
That's true, but...
However,
Yes?
every so often, there will be a guest who sneaks off with some of the high-quality bone china.
That's quite the poorly behaved guest, isn't it?
So if, for example, there had been 1 other bullet in that room, I'd be willing to rethink my stance.
A 3rd bullet left behind at the scene of the crime. I don't have it, I can indicate one. At this point we can't indicate, so no. We'll have to come back. Unfortunately, as of right now, the number of bullets found at the scene was only 2.
I know that,
Ugh, boy.
but I don't think there's any way the yard detectives could have missed such a thing. If I were to overlook a bullet while cleaning a room, I'd be harshly scolded by my master.
That would have to mean that some sort of crime took place in that room, right?
A 3rd bullet, huh?
If we were able to find one, that would change everything, wouldn't it?
Oh, maybe it rolled away somewhere.
The right eye and left eye. If you have 2 photos, you can see them in 3D, right?
Precisely. Like this.
We also have 2 bullets, so... could you maybe use those to see something?
Oh, brother. No matter how you glare at them with your eyes crossed, there is but one fact that stands out. The only one who could have shot the victim was the defendant.
How can you say that with such certainty?
Think about it. Those Templar brothers shot the famous detective, right?
Yes, that's true, but...
See? Pretty obvious, right?
it's no good. I won't manage to change anything like this. Would you mind setting aside that unrelated surgery for now? The defendant's life is hanging in the balance.
I don't think I ought to do that. There's nothing about that surgery that makes it unrelated, you see?
Yo, Doc, did you examine the detective? If it is related to this? Huh?
See, he was definitely shot, but the bullet vanished from inside his stomach. It doesn't get any stranger than that, don't ya think?
Could it be that the surgery you're referring to?
What was that bloke's name again? Holaka!
Do you mean Sherlock Holmes-san?
Yes, that's it! It was that Mr. Hollock fellow!
He still gets it wrong! Eh? You're Holmes-san's surgeon? What the heck are you doing here?
We used the newest general anesthesia. It was quite the major surgery.
What the heck?
It was the dead of night when he was brought into the hospital. He was shot by some crooks. That was what they said, so I eagerly sliced open his stomach. But no matter how much I dug around in his stomach, I never could find that bullet. So I stitched him back up again with a sigh.
But isn't that obvious?
What do you mean?
Well, after all, that bullet was left behind at the crime scene, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. It's shown quite clearly in this photo. The bullet the Templar brother shot hit Mr. Holmes, and after passing through his body, it embedded itself in this calendar.
This is Naruhodō, not the judge. Script. That's Naruhodō. If you think about it stereoscopically, doesn't it seem pretty obvious?
Huh? Who do you think you're talking to?
I have no idea.
When I saw the wound in his stomach, naturally I turned him over too.
You turned him over. So that means you checked Holmes-san's back too?
But there was no exit wound there, see?
Did I get caught in something? Eh?
That's how I determined that the bullet must still be in his stomach. It was only then that I eagerly sliced into his stomach. I'll ask as many times as I need to. Can't someone solve this mystery for me?
That is certainly a very troubling mystery.
Isn't there a gun expert here who can help me solve the mystery of this vanishing
That is a new
bullet?
statement right there. We're gonna press him again. I never imagined that one of the jurors would end up being Holmes-san's surgeon. Should you really be here?
I'm the one who ought to be surprised here.
So there's no mistake about it. Holmes-san was definitely shot, right?
Well, that's what the officers who brought him in said.
How did Holmesy's wounds look?
There was quite a lot of blood. He certainly wasn't in good shape. And he must have been shot at quite a close range. He had dreadful burns around his wound.
Did you say burns? Did it hit one of the vials? Like, he has like those little vials on his like waist and stuff, and maybe it hit it.
I tried turning him over, but there was no sign of an exit wound. So I thought I ought to start by removing the bullet.
But there was no bullet to be found inside Holmes-san's body.
And there shouldn't have been. After all, it was found embedded in the wall of the pawn shop. Nah! Doesn't anyone have an answer to this mystery?
The answer to this mystery is that there had to have been a third bullet in this case, because the blood samples show that it was Egg Benedict's blood that's on the calendar, so...
If only there were some sort of dodgy character here who knew all about pistols.
Is this implying that I need to go talk to Juror 6? A vanishing bullet. What makes you say it'll be a busy day?
Ah, pardon me. I don't believe I mentioned this yet. I'm a technician. In telecommunications, that is.
Telecommunications? You mean as in telegrams?
Everything from the general public's messages to the breaking headlines of London's newspapers gets transmitted via Morse code and delivered all over the world.
All over the world?
This is all made possible by tens of thousands of miles of cable stretched across the bottom of the sea. Information from all over the world races through it every day.
Come to think of it, this woman got all passionate earlier talking about wireless communications.
I'm the technician in charge of the area of the city that contains many newspaper and government offices.
I see.
I meant to transmit a newspaper article about the guilty verdict at this trial later today. I doubt I'll be able to make it home tonight.
Guilty verdict, she says. Alright, juror number 6. Expert on pistols, he says. I thought you said you were just a regular traveler, right?
I him London for sightseeing. I go next to see Crystal Tower.
This is just way too suspicious. So, what did you mean you're a gun expert?
Truth is, I have been involved in many things throughout my life.
Hey?
I have overcome many, outrageous, extraordinary things. I have overcome, how to say...
Ah, you mean violent struggles?
Yes, that! I have overcome many violent struggles. English, very difficult.
And I'm pretty sure this guy is very dangerous.
In any case, if it has to do with guns, please ask me anything. Dimitri will show you he can solve most any mystery.
Mysteries involving guns, huh? That's some pretty amazing confidence he's got.
In Russian, please, if possible.
Seems like he's not at all confident in his English.
Anyway, I better remember this. Mysteries involving guns, huh? Prosecutor Von Zeeks. He got the verdict overturned on me.
He said all other possibilities have been eliminated, but I don't think that's true.
I better start by searching for something I can use to launch a counterstrike. I'll definitely find a way to turn this verdict around. We're gonna do that right now. So, let's pit number 4. Because he was looking for a gun expert. With number 6. In regards to those 2 statements just now, please, let me hear your opinion.
Ah, a gun expert!
Opinion.
On the night of the murder, Holmes-san was shot by the Templar brothers. Since there was no exit wound in his back, it wouldn't be logical to assume that it passed through his body. However, no bullet was found inside Holmes-san's body. Also, there was a bullet found embedded in the wall of the crime scene. Juror 6.
Yes, my name is Dimitri.
The mystery that's giving Jurors 4 such problems. Perhaps you know the answer.
Such thing happened while I was in Russia. One night during blizzard, I was desperately fleeing along frozen mountain road. Snow was frozen, road was narrow. Very dangerous frozen mountain road. My pursuers trailed behind me in dog sled, firing at me with rifles.
I probably shouldn't ask how he got into that situation.
I was shot in back and fell down in snow. The situation very much like one we are hearing about now. Bullet that should have hit me was not found in my body, and naturally, no exit wound was found.
So, then where on earth did the bullet go?
Bullet did not hit me.
So then where on earth did the bullet go?
Bullet went into frozen chunk of ice, right near my sight as I fled.
So I'm right. The bullet that hit Sherlock must have hit his vials that were on his waist.
Then, sharp piece of ice flew off and pierced me. Such deep wound I thought it was caused by bullet.
You don't say.
Ice that stabbed me was melted by heat of my body. That is answer to mysteriously vanishing bullet.
But what does that have to do with this?
Eh?
Think about it. At that time in the shop. Forget blizzards, there wasn't so much as a single snowflake.
Let's try thinking about that practically, shall we?
Hey, Naruhodō-kun, where was it that Meowzy got shot again?
I'm pretty sure I heard it was somewhere in his stomach.
Meowzy always wears a belt with a pouch on it around his waist.
A pouch. Now that she mentions it.
And in that pouch, he keeps a set of 3 glass bottles with incredibly dangerous chemicals in them.
What? Doctor! The pouch Home-san was wearing! Where is it now?
I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing any such thing when he arrived at the hospital.
Pardon me. Prosecutor Von Zeeks. Technically, it's against the rules for the prosecution to speak during the final appeal, but the detective's pouch is currently in the prosecutor's prep room. Eh? That night, when the police rushed onto the scene of the crime, they apparently removed that pouch in order to check the state of the detective's wound.
Oh, and that's why I don't remember having seen it.
Originally, that item had been in storage with the rest of the evidence. It's possible that no one has laid so much as a finger on it since that night.
In that case, though it may be very unorthodox to permit such a thing in the middle of a final appeal, the court would like the prosecution to submit that evidence for reference. Fetch Mr. Sherlock Holmes' pouch. So this is the pouch that Mr. Holmes is said to have been wearing that night.
You were right, Iris-chan. The glass bottle was broken, and the area around it is burnt black. It almost looks like an explosion took place.
Explosion?
In other words, that night, the bullet fired by the Templar brothers hit this pouch.
And the bottle inside the pouch exploded and injured the detective.
Bullet then pierced Chaliandra, hanging on wall near shop's entrance.
I'm still not sitting on that calendar. I think that's a different bullet. Delicious.
It seems that this clears up at least one mystery.
Though it ended up having no bearing on this case. A small-time crook shot the detective, and the defendant shot the victim. This changes nothing about the facts of the case.
But at the very least, I'm feeling a lot better about all this. It seems that thanks are in order. Blackie, the defense attorney, thank you!
Thank you.
I'm so glad.
Since it's already here, the court will accept this ratty thing into evidence. Don't call Holmesy's pouch a ratty thing.
Holmes' pouch. Holmes-san was wearing this on his hip on the night of the murder. A glass bottle was shattered, and there's a burn mark that seems to have been caused by an explosion.
We will now return to the final appeal. But it appears that overturning this verdict will be no easy task.
Please, just give me a little more time. At least I managed to get my hands on a new clue. You better not allow even the smallest details to slip by you, Naruhodō Ryūnosuke. I'm sure there's still a chance to turn this all around here somewhere. Okay, well, while that's going on, let's examine this thing. Oh my god, there's so much evidence now. This little glass bottle has been shattered to dust. Maybe the bullet hit it?
I think if the bullet had hit it, it would have made a huge explosion.
A huge explosion?
The chemicals Holmesy makes to use in his investigations are super effective, but they're also incredibly difficult to handle and terribly dangerous.
Eh?
It must have caught fire when the bullet hit the glass bottle, huh?
I think I'll be sure I'm on the opposite side as this pouch next time I walk with Holmes-san. Let's look at the other bottles.
These bottles are filled with Holmesy's homemade chemicals.
Homemade?
Like a fingerprint liquid that exposes the traces left behind after a person touches something. Or a scent straightening liquid that can enhance the scent on something up to 10,000 times.
That sounds pretty impressive.
They're really easy to use. There's just one thing you have to be careful of. Whatever happens, you mustn't let them be exposed to flames.
Holmes-san, will he wear such dangerous things dangling from his hip? It's hard to say whether this is due to a disdain for reality or his endless carefreeness. Okay, let's turn this around. Oh, there it is! I see it! But we're not going to examine it just yet. I think we're going to look at this bullet hole right here first. That looks like a pretty serious burn.
Huh? Look here! The belt's been cut!
I guess this must be where the bullet hit, huh?
Now, let's take a little peek.
There's definitely a bullet in there, though. Like, lodged right in there. Iris-chan, look at this! Look what was behind the broken bottle!
Ah! This is the missing bullet!
So the bullet shot at Holmes-san got stuck in here. This is a really significant discovery. This means that that night, there were 3 bullets fired at Hatch-san's shop.
Ah, come to think of it, one of the jurors said something about a third bullet, didn't they?
Alright, let's press him fast and hard one more time. 3rd bullet, found lodged in Holmes-san's pouch. It seems that this bullet caused Holmes-san's chemicals to explode and injured him. Hey, there's a hole here. It looks less like a bullet hole and more like something was torn off by some strong force.
If there's a hole in it, maybe something passed through it.
Huh. Either way, it looks like there was a lot of suffering involved for both Holmes-san and his pouch. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. We're gonna go back to the second juror. And we're just gonna keep pressing through until we get to that choice option. Oh, I'm running out of time though. Okay, I don't have anything like that. I can present one. In that case, allow me to present the 3rd bullet. I have it here. It was just discovered moments ago. At Hatch-san's shop that night, 1 more bullet was fired. What is the meaning of this, Japanese boy? Where on earth did that bullet? It was lodged at the back of Holmes-san's pouch. What? Apparently, this was removed before Holmes-san was carried to the hospital. Since then, no one examined it.
So, the bullet fired by the Templar brothers on the night of the murder.
Yes, we can assume that it hit this pouch.
But that doesn't make sense, does it? If the bullet fired at Mr. Holmes was there, then where in the world did the bullet shown in this photo come from?
Ah!
2 guns have already been submitted as evidence.
The victim, Mr. Hatch's pistol, and the Templar brothers' pistol, correct?
And the number of bullets found to have been fired from these pistols is 1 each.
Ah,
So then,
That's right. At the scene of the crime, 3 bullets were fired. But only 2 of those were from the pistols that have been presented so far. So long as this fatal contradiction remains, a verdict cannot be handed down. Ugh! Oh, my badge! Order! 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 We will continue this into the next video because we are unfortunately out of time, my friend. So we shall figure out where that 3rd bullet come from in the next one. See you guys then.
The alternate explanation.
What was that name, blokes? What was that name, bloke? Blokey name, bloke. Ah, I got an expert. Sugoi!